I'm back. Oh my goodness. So excited. I see some familiar faces. Okay, so I've been your MC today, but I told our next guest she needs to come out with me because I actually get to spend the next hour with you. So if you don't know me or you're new to this session now, I'm Whitney Reynolds. I host and own the Whitney Reynolds Show that airs on PBS and is dedicated to being a safe space for stories. I love people, I love their stories, and I'm so excited we're gonna dive into yours, Jessica. Now, I wanna tell you, she is quite the person. I got to eat lunch with her, and I learned more about her story, and she's gonna get into that. But Jessica Jordan Ping, AKA the Rolling Explorer, Jessica is a content creator, speaker, writer, presenter, and podcaster, model, actor, consultant, and disability advocate who was born with child syndrome, a very rare genetic condition with only 60 known cases. She launched her blog, The Rolling Explorer, in June 2020. We all remember that year. And uses her platform to educate and spread awareness of her lived experience, increase disability visibility, spill the accessibility on her new podcast, and inspire self-love and disability pride worldwide. Jessica, we're gonna be getting into so much today. And I mean, with all the sessions, I've been taking notes. The speakers are incredible. Today is all about uplifting and empowering the gap. Can you believe that Marshall's research found that 32% of women do not feel like they have access to resources they need to live their ideal life? Nope, yeah. That's what they found. And Jessica is a testament to the fact that it's our ability to adapt and carve out a new path. Jessica, I am so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you, Whitney. Oh my goodness, this is a dream come true. So.
We're gonna have a fun hour.
We're gonna have a fun hour.
I know, and I love your outfit. I do wanna note, it is Marshall's, it looks great. Yeah.
Marshall's head to toe.
Literally head to toe. And look, we got matching shoes and didn't even know it. Yeah, that was not planned. We knew we were gonna be besties.
100%.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of a Q&A just to get to know Jessica, and then she's gonna share a really cool resource guide with us. Okay, so Jessica, you're well known online for your vibrant personality, your sense of humor, and unfiltered approach to sharing what it's like to live as a disabled woman in Chicago. Before we dive into your platform, could you start by sharing a bit of your disability and what it was like growing up?
For sure. So I was born with child syndrome, which is a very rare condition that affects about 60 people worldwide with skin and limb deficiencies. For me, that looks like a shortened arm on the left side of my body, and it may be hard to tell today. I don't typically wear pants with my prosthetic, but I do have a prosthetic on here. Yes, it is sparkly as well.
I love it. I love the sparkles.
Thank you. Glitter's my favorite color.
Okay, I love
100%. So I do have a prosthetic. I was born with a shortened leg as well that was further amputated after birth, and my diagnosis actually came after birth. But alas, I was born with my disability. So I've always been disabled. From the moment I was born with adversity, if you will, and so that was just my experience. But because of this, I didn't really see anything different with myself as a child. When you're a kid, you just want to laugh and have fun and play and have friends. And so up until the age of like 5 or 6, I just behaved like any other kid because I was a regular kid. Disability is a normal part of the human condition. I was a normal kid. But alas, there are societal norms, if you will. And so when I got to kindergarten, it kind of became this wake-up call. Oh, I am different. Something is different. People are treating me differently. And it all stemmed from one little story that I am going to share because it's kind of funny.
Please do.
We were leaving for the day, kindergarten, early days, and I had pants on, again, that day. My prosthetic fully falls off and gets caught in the pants. And you know what? I can understand why my peers were a little taken aback by that. If you've never encountered disability at that point in your life, which I'm sure many 5-year-olds have not, it would be a little striking, a little shocking, if you will. And so that kind of, already the arm is very visible, but then suddenly, oh, she's missing a leg too. Let's take a step back. Let's make sure that we're not going to be next. What if there's fear there? There's fear surrounding disability, and it's because it's so not talked about, and it's so just kind of pushed to the edges of society. And so, that was kind of my life then going forward. I was always kind of excluded by my peers. I was always kind of on the outside looking in, and that went throughout my elementary school years and got worse throughout middle school and high school. I was very lucky to find a really great group of friends, but in the grand scheme of my small town, I was still very much not in the cool crowd. I was very much not invited to parties or anything like that. I always felt like I was missing some sort of connection with people. And it felt very much like I needed to do something to make myself more likable. I had to change myself. And I don't necessarily think that this level of adaptation was healthy, but I do think that it helped me kind of begin to understand that I'm going to have to change different aspects of myself to be able to be included in daily life.
Wow.
And so I tried to make myself as less disabled as possible, and went through high school like that. I would put myself in somewhat questionable positions, going to high school prom, for example, hopping around on one leg for 2 to 3 hours in a big ball gown. Can't say that that was great for my knee joint or my hip joint or my ankle, but alas, I did it. In college, same thing. It continued throughout my early 20s. I went to the University of Notre Dame, a football school.
Yeah.
Go Irish.
Yeah.
And I would go to football games, and I would stand in the crowd amongst all of my tipsy peers, and we would all cheer on Notre Dame football, which was fun, but people would fall on top of each other. It was not a safe environment. It wasn't safe for anybody, let alone me on one foot. So it was just one of these things that I was constantly putting myself in dangerous positions. I was constantly trying to make myself less disabled, and I was breaking my own self-worth in the process, because I was telling myself, something's wrong with me. I have to change. And so, long story short, I had a mental breakdown and was like very unhealthy and very much needing help. And so I sought out that help. I went to therapy and learned that it's okay that I take up space.
Yeah.
And that is truly the foundation of how I came to be here today, where I now embrace my disability, and I'm honestly quite fond of it. I realize that it has given me so many incredible opportunities, including getting to speak to all of you wonderful people today. And so I have a lot of gratitude for the fact that I was, quote unquote, born different, but at the same time, just born like a normal person, because I am a normal person.
Yeah, a good shift in thinking. And I appreciate your vulnerability, because it's not easy to be in front of people and to be so open, and you consistently do that on your platforms. Okay, balancing the desire to fit in, we touched on that, but truly embracing your authentic self is a lifelong journey. I can say just me becoming a mom, that's a whole new journey itself. It's a lifelong journey. You mentioned being labeled as too much or extra. I think there's probably some other people in the room that we all maybe are a little too much. Oh yeah, I see you in the back. And how can you discuss how to navigate those pressures and work to show up for your true authentic self?
For sure. I think as women, a lot of times we're told that we're being too much. That's just something like, oh, you're dramatic. Oh, like you need to tone it down. And I think, I grew up in a smaller community. There was a lot of pressure, I think, to show up in a certain way and to kind of limit yourself and your belief system in a way so you didn't overstep and you stayed within your own place. And furthermore, being disabled, I think that was a huge part of it as well. It's like, oh, how dare you be a woman and disabled, and you're trying to be a performer, you're trying to be out here and sharing your opinions and being loud and proud. That's crazy.
We would have been friends, by the way. I mean, now we are, but we would have been friends back in the day.
For sure. I can guarantee, because yes, we vibe. And it's so great because I think it comes down to really just getting to know yourself, right? And I feel like I see this in you. You seem very comfortable with yourself and who you are as a person in our short conversations. And that's been monumental for me as a human being, just getting to know myself on such a deeper level. And we're going to do that more today, actually, in this session. We're going to really get in touch with who we are as people, because I believe that having a strong foundation of self-love, having a strong foundation of who you are, is how you overcome adversity. Because as soon as change comes into your life, change can be good or bad, and having a strong foundation of who you are will help ground you when that change, good or bad, comes into your life, so you know how to navigate it in a way that is beneficial to you. Any sort of adaptations that you have to add in order to get to the places that you want to be in this life come through a foundation of knowing who you are. And that's not to say that you can't change who you are either. I think that's really important. I never set out to be who I am today. I never thought that I would be a content creator and show up on the internet in the way that I do. I always admired YouTubers back in the day. I grew up in the age of storytime YouTube and beauty content and all of that. And I was like, oh, that'd be fun. I would love to have a skincare routine and get to just film it for a living. That would be cute.
Love it.
But, you know, like, now I have this platform that's all about me, and it's all about sharing my lived experience. But I could have never pictured that. And so you're allowed to change your wants. You're allowed to change that foundation. But having the ability to recognize that you have that foundation is where that key focus really comes in.
I love that. Yeah, we're always kind of adapting. And, you know, that brings me to my next point. The theme of today's programming is recognizing important catalysts or moments in the journey. So as we are adapting, there are going to be important moments. And understanding that knowing where to begin can be the hardest part. Where do you take that first step? Can you share when and why you decided to share your journey so publicly? Because as we've even noted, when you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there.
Yes, that is true in all the ways, good and bad. But I think one of the themes of today as well is community. And it's about surrounding yourself with positive influences. And we're going to get more into that. But the way that I got started with sharing my story is I didn't set out to share my story publicly. I think like I said, there was a part of me that always wanted to have like a cute little watch me do my makeup sort of thing. But I never anticipated my disability being a part of the show because I was ashamed of it for so much of my life. And so it never really occurred to me that it could actually be my strongest tool. It could actually be the thing that sets me apart. And so I think when it came down to how do I want to start this, it was actually really brought up to me from a mentor of mine. So a little bit about my backstory. I, like I said, went to the University of Notre Dame and I studied English Lit. Always have loved reading, have always loved writing, and it was in school that I realized that storytelling is so powerful, and I realized I wanted to be a storyteller. So I actually worked for my alma mater right after college in their development department, and I worked on telling financial aid stories. So I would interview and connect with other students at the university, and I would ask them how financial aid had impacted their college experience, their college education, why they were able to go to Notre Dame because of it. And I would share it with the benefactors. That was my whole job. It was a great job. I loved that job. And it showed me like, oh, I want to do this for a living. I want to tell stories. I didn't think I'd be telling mine. So I went to a mentor of mine who worked at the university, and I said, how can I do this forever? How can I continue to grow in a storytelling career? And he was like, well, first of all, if you want to be a writer, you need to practice every single day. And you need to talk about something that you know really well, because otherwise you're going to burn out. And I was like, okay, I can talk about traveling. And he's like, I don't think so.
Gotta love those mentors, honesty.
I know. I was like very, very real. I was like, okay, what about like pop culture? And he's like, think deeper, think deeper. And suddenly I was like, all right, I need to talk about my life, don't I? And he's like, bingo.
Wow.
And so that night, I went home and I set up a website. It was a really not great looking website. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did set one up. I bought a domain, The Rolling Explorer, and I have been making content in one shape or form ever since. And that has shifted over the years. It started as like a written blog, then social media during the pandemic.
Oh boy, yes.
Oh yeah, TikTok, all those fun little videos. We all had to get on board, right?
We did.
Yes. And now I have a podcast called Access Denied. So I consistently have shifted in my career, I feel like, to different mediums, but it's always been the same of using storytelling and using my particular experiences to educate and advocate for the disability community.
Well, and I find it fascinating that what was once one of your hardest things to really overcome is now you're taking others with you, which is all about community. So speaking of which, when it comes to community and finding people, today we're encouraging everyone to mix, mingle, and maybe even leave with new connections. And we should have taken out the maybe. No, you're gonna leave with new connections. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal community and your online community, how they played a role in your journey to self-love? And I do wanna note, we have two really prime people in your community front row today.
They do. My parents are here today, y'all. So thanks, Mom and Dad. But I actually want to start by talking about my online community because I think they were really, really foundational for me in that self-love transition. So I mentioned that I was in college kind of when I had that mental breakdown and I went to therapy. And you know, there was a lot of transition within that. I went through a lot of mental health work in that. But I think also during that time was when I met my mentor and I started the blog. And I really didn't blog full time like he said that I should for the first year. I kind of just had the thing and I would put out like an occasional blog post and be like, oh, look, I'm a blogger now. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. I did not. And I spent a lot of that first year actually learning about the space. But I think more so than that, I spent a lot of time unlearning ableism and all of this internalized beliefs that I had about myself through other disabled creators and bloggers. And so I really, really dove into like a research year, I would say. And so, you know, I grew up in a really small rural community and I love my hometown. It gave me a great foundation for who I am today. But the reality is diversity wasn't there. And so I didn't really know that a wide range of people with disabilities existed in the world. Did you know that the disability community is actually the biggest minority group in the world?
No, I did not.
It
oh
is.
My goodness.
Over 1 billion people are disabled, which is a large percentage, obviously. And I think I was under the belief, because my condition is so rare, it only affects 60 people, that I was so alone. I felt so isolated. And that's part of why I had such a complex about my disability for so long, because I truly didn't realize that there were so many other people out there. And while we might have different disabilities, we might have different challenges, we can come together on so many different things and similar lived experiences. And so finding that community when I entered the online space was huge for me. It just, for the first time in my life, truly gave me this feeling of belonging. Like, oh, I have a purpose here. And I can use my stories to help amplify that as well and be that representation that I didn't have as a kid.
Wow.
That was really big for me and has been a continuation of the purpose that I have in everything that I do now. So my online community means so much to me. I love that I have been able to grow a following on the internet, and I've been trusted with that honor of having a platform, because it is an honor to be able to share to a public in any capacity. But I'm very, very grateful for that, and I'm even more grateful to my personal community. And I think that is really something that I want to stress today to all of you, how important it is to surround yourself with positive influences and people that really boost your mentality and boost your overall emotion and challenge you. I think that's a really big one. I moved from the UK last year, and so my personal community has shifted quite a bit, but I have been so lucky to find such a great cohort of women here in Chicago that I got a text today from one of my best friends. I didn't know her a year ago. I did not know her a year ago, and she texted me this morning. She's like, you are a powerhouse. I'm so proud of you. Go and do your best today. I can't wait to hear about it. That is the type of people that you want in your life. That is the type of connections that you're seeking. And you know, I've learned a lot in the last year in my big shift. We're going to talk about it, I know, but the reason that I moved from the UK was because I got divorced. And I think in that, it has taught me how important it is to really surround yourself with good people. That quote that says, you become like the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. So true. 100%. You can take on negative energy even if you yourself have a positive light. And so making sure that you are bringing in good people. And it's better to be alone for a bit. It's better to have a smaller community than to be surrounded by people that bring you down or make you question the steps that you want to take in your life. You want people that boost you up. You want people that challenge you. You want people that you're excited to see win and they're excited to see you win. That's the energy that you want in your life.
I love that. Well, as a fellow Chicagoan, I'm glad you're back here. So this is great. You've been very open about your rejection. You did just touch on the divorce, your setbacks in life, the disability divorce, moving and growing your business, and even dating. Oh my goodness. Can you reflect on times when you had to build your resilience muscle and how adapting those challenging moments led you to redirection to bigger and better things?
Absolutely. I think I have a very unique experience with adversity and resilience because I was born with my disability. It's always been a part of my life. I was born with adversity. It just has been there from the beginning. And, you know, I think, especially compared to people that maybe acquire disabilities later on in life, I have a very different approach to how I approach different adversities. And I think, you know, a lot of people, and myself included, will probably hear this story and be like, oh, her disability was the most difficult thing she had to, quote unquote, overcome. No, not at all. It has given me a strong foundation of how to handle adversity, and it has given me the tools along the way for how to combat negative mental health states and different challenges and barriers, how to adapt to the world around me. It has given me so many tools that I'm so grateful for, because if I wasn't born with my disability, I wouldn't necessarily have those tools. And I know that having those tools helped me through my even bigger piece of adversity, which was going through a divorce in the last year. Because it wasn't just a divorce.
Right.
It was an international move. It was a saying goodbye to my home at the time. I lived in the UK for 3 years. I had built a community there. That was my place. It was saying goodbye to my relationship, something I thought was going to be forever, and then suddenly was ripped away, it felt like, in a second. And there were so many goodbyes. There was so much pain. There was so much change. And it felt like every aspect of my life, my business, I had grown my business. I started as a model in the UK. That's how I really, like, outside of my blog, like, really started to become, quote unquote, like a public figure, if you will. And then I was like, oh goodness, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to move back to the US. I'm gonna have to start over. Everything's changing. My community's changing. I'm gonna have to start dating again. So many things. And, you know, if I hadn't had such experiences with my disability, I don't know if I would have been as equipped to handle all of the rejection that came from that, but also all of the change and how much I had to put myself in there. And I'm so grateful that I had that foundation of self-love and that foundation of who I am as a person, what I want out of life, because it really did help me get through last year. 2023 was rough. It was rough.
Well, you talked about being equipped and the tools. You have an awesome tool for moving forward with these types of days and staying motivated when it might be a really hard day. And as humans, we're gonna have rough days. We're gonna have tough times. I mean, that is one thing with life. Can you tell us more about your rejection rescue toolkit and what your own kit consists of?
Absolutely. I love this thing, by the way.
Yeah, I do too when I was filling it out.
It's so powerful for me because I think, you know, as I was going through my divorce last year, I kept feeling like I just had to keep pushing forward. I just had to keep doing the next thing. And there was moving, and I did Fashion Week 2 weeks after all of it. And I was doing this. I was traveling here. I was all of it. And I think I never gave myself the permission to fall apart. And I realized once I hit like a blockade and I was like, oh no, I shut down for a month. Full transparency. I absolutely just broke down for a month, and I stared at the wall for pretty much a month. And it was not a good time. And if I had just given myself the permission to feel my feelings, it might not have been so drastic. It might have been a more steady-paced experience. And that's why I'm bringing the Rejection Rescue Kit today. I talk about this a lot in my podcast, actually. And to me, this serves as a contract between you and yourself. You essentially are giving yourself the permission to fall apart, and you're giving yourself a toolkit of how you're going to do that. You're writing down your sad day ritual. What are things that you're going to do? How are you going to allow yourself to fall apart? This has to be the least productive. Yes.
Well, so what I was thinking is whenever you're walking us through this, do we want our audience to kind of start filling it out and start marinating on it? We would love for you to be interactive with us too on this.
Let's definitely do that. I think that would be really powerful. I'd love to hear some of your guys' answers as well. I think that would be
And
really
when you
fun.
say your sad day ritual, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's just what you're allowing yourself to do to fall apart. There's a lot of guilt, as I said, around allowing yourself to kind of not be okay. There's a lot of shame in that for a lot of reasons. And so I think giving yourself 3 things that you are going to be like, you know what? If I'm having a bad day, I get to do these things. As you can see on the TV up here, I have that I will just stare at the wall. And I said that earlier. I sit in a couch. I sometimes will have a TV show on in the background, and I'll just zone out, really let myself be in my head, feel my feelings. I'm not a big crier, but I am a big marinator. I have anxiety, so we're inside our head a lot of the time, and sometimes we just need that. I'm gonna ignore people's texts. It's okay. We do not have to be available to people 24/7, and it's okay to take a step back from your phone and reminding myself that they're not gonna hate me if I leave them go for a few minutes or a few days or whatever it may be. And then rewatching my favorite show. I think last year during my divorce, I rewatched Friends 10 times. 10 times. I finished it, immediately started again.
Well, and I wrote down ordering pho. Like, I know, I love a good spicy meal on my sad day ritual. Anybody out there, do you want to share yours? Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
I like when I get like depressed or I'm having a rough day, like I like to lie in my bed. And I always
here we
feel
go.
like a bum. So I always feel like a bum because people make you feel like you always have to like work, but I like to rest because I work. So I feel like that's what I do. I grab my snacks and I'm in bed all day.
And I think it's also powerful that we can say we do have a sad day ritual.
Yes.
You know, because for me, I always like to be a positive person, but it's important to own that there's going to be some tough days.
100%. And I love what you just said too, because rest is productive. And I think we skim over that so much, but like being able to turn off and just rot, as to use your words, it's very productive. It helps you kind of cleanse your body and your mind to be able to kind of eventually go back to it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the sad day ritual. Does anybody have any other ones that they want to share really quick?
Oh, we got one in the back. Hi, I love your lipstick.
Oh, I love a power red lip.
It's Marshall's. I'm going to say this. I am a very proud dog mom. So for me, when I'm feeling sad, that's when my dog like works overtime. And I will spend an entire day on the couch like eating French fries with her and see no one else. So I think that's when we really utilize our pets and let them just like comfort us.
I love that. Pets are great companions.
They really are.
They're so, so happy all the time.
Crouton's going to be mad I didn't write his name down on mine. I know.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, I know he is going to be mad. But that's so, thank you for sharing, everybody. Should we go on to
let's go on to the next one.
The BFM routine, the bare freaking minimum.
I actually had her clarify in the green room what that meant.
It's important. It's important. But for this one, it's all about making a to-do list. I don't know about you guys, but I imagine if you're sitting here today, you're probably planners. You're probably people that like to get stuff done. And you know, when we let ourselves fall apart, we can feel like that's where the guilt comes in. We're not getting enough done. So if we write down a few things that, you know, this is the bare minimum. Every single day that I'm having a really bad time, if I get these things done, I've been productive. And the point is truly, do not make these big things. Make these very small, keep them to 3 max. You can put 1 thing down. It doesn't matter. This is your worksheet, you do it for you. But as you can see, like mine are very, very minor things. Changing my clothes. I'm going to change out of pajamas into probably sweatpants.
But on a hard day, that can be hard.
That can be really hard. Brushing my teeth. Just making sure that basic dental hygiene is covered. And then drinking a tea. Tea is one of my favorite things, and if I don't have a tea, I don't necessarily feel like I've had my full day. So in drinking a tea, I feel very at peace for the day.
I love that. Something I mentioned was taking vitamins. Yeah, that's something bare minimum. Take your meds. Yeah.
Take your meds, take your
meds.
vitamins. Keep your health. Keep your health.
Would anybody out there like to share theirs? Yeah.
When I started doing this, I felt like, oh my God, this is so stupid. But over time, it literally makes such a difference. I changed from like my night PJs and then I put on a different clean pair of PJs or sweatpants for like my daytime PJs. And like the mood shifts like completely.
I love your honesty with that. Daytime PJs, that's good. I'm going to take that one home with me. Yes. Anybody else? Oh, yeah.
Enough sleep is very important.
That's something I've been working on in my 30s. Yeah. Enough sleep.
I need to start working on that.
For me, I go get my hair washed. That's what I do.
Someone else washes it.
Yes, someone
I
else
love
washes
that
it.
one.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't washed my hair by myself in over a year.
love
It's
your
just the
life.
best feeling, like having like a treatment, a luxury treatment.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
I love that. That's
I
such
need a pen up here with me. I need to add some of these.
That's such a treat to yourself too, and I love that. I think
Yeah.
self-care, that's self-care right there.
That
I love
is.
that. Oh, you guys have such great answers.
It's so good.
I'm so glad that you know, and this is a big part of it too, knowing what fills you up, knowing what you need to do for yourself. That is a really important part of this exercise as well. And the next fun bit here is the mood boosting media, as I call it. You know, we all have playlists that we listen to. Mine is definitely the Red Album by Taylor Swift.
I love that. Yes.
I will listen to that anytime I need a good cry, the All Too Well 10-minute version. Yep, 100%. But, you know, we need some media that's going to kind of get us back on track, too. It's okay to be in your feelings. It's okay to listen to your sad girl playlist. But I think making sure that we're also combining that with some comedy,
Right.
some uplifting content, some empowering content. And I have a list of things that make me smile on here, different songs, different TV shows. One of my favorite creators, Elise Myers, big fan. Just anything that you can turn to when you're feeling not so good that will instantly boost your mood, that's what you kind of want to put on here.
You know, I almost wrote my own show, The Whitney Reynolds Show, but I was like, wait a second. Okay, let's make it about somebody else. Okay, so I had to turn to the other Whitney Houston, greatest love of all. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. I mean, don't make me bust it right now. I could do it.
Somebody play it?
Cue the music. Okay, what about you out there?
I recently started doing this more, but it's like a guided meditation that's really positive. Wow. And so like even if I'm just laying there and it's just like playing over and over, I think that's really helped.
Is there a name of it or is it?
I've started doing one, it's called Prosperity Mindset.
Okay.
Love.
So it's also like a hypnosis, like a self-hypnosis type of thing. It's really cool.
Wow, I love that.
It's so good sometimes to like let yourself be the thing that boosts you too, and that's what meditation I feel like really is. So that's a really powerful one. I'm glad you shared that. Thank you. Let's move on to the past slays.
Yeah.
I love this one particularly because I think it's so important to remind yourself of things that you've accomplished in your life that make you you, that make you stand out, that made you feel powerful, that made you feel like you were on top of the world. And they don't have to be big things. They can truly be, you know what? I'm proud of myself for walking down the road yesterday because it was something that I needed to do. It doesn't have to be anything monumental. I have a mix of things on here for mine. I have that I was invited to the White House. That's
a big one.
That's a big one. I will be honest. That's not walking down the street. Thank you.
Can't say it's on my list.
I graduated from university. That was something that I was very proud of as a disabled woman to be able to do. And then I have friends who tell me that they love me. I already told you about my friend that texted me this morning. And I think that is something that really fills up my cup. And it makes me feel like, you know what? No, that's a sleigh. That's a sleigh. So
That is a sleigh.
what are your sleighs?
Well, I wrote down, I have a very eclectic one. One was my Emmy nominations. Now notice I said nominations. Not yet an Emmy, but we're getting there, past slay. Crane's 40 under 40 last year. And then I pushed my twins. When the doctor said I wasn't allowed to, we went ahead and pushed. So there you go, very eclectic over here.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Anybody out there? Yes.
I graduated from master's
Ooh.
Amazing.
in the US in English, which is not my first language.
Wow.
So I'm really proud of that.
That's a big deal, girl.
Yeah.
I love that.
Congratulations, that's huge.
What a powerful room today. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Anybody else? It's okay to cheer for yourself, guys. Yeah, there you go. I saw you, Green.
So I'm really proud of the fact that I was on the Nike ad for the Chicago Marathon, and I completed 9 marathons, and next week is going to be my 10th. So
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well done. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you just said that it's okay to cheer for yourself. I think that is why this is on here, right? We need to recognize when we have done amazing things, because so often you do the thing and then you're like, oh, well, what's next? No. Own what you've accomplished. Own your achievements, because those are huge in and of themselves, and they are part of your story, and they are part of who you are, and they will be that foundation to help you get out of a sad girl day.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. We are going to move on to the no ways. The past slays and then the no ways.
I love your alliteration.
Thank you. We tried to get some
slays, no ways, yeah.
Try to get some fun in there. This is all about the things that you're not going to do. You're not going to let yourself do this. No matter how sad you are, no matter how mad you are, doesn't matter anything, you're not going to do it. First one on my list, text my ex. We're not
No
doing
way.
that. No way. Never. Not going to happen. I tend to do this when I have done this a lot in the past, where I've lived on microwave popcorn for weeks at a time sometimes. So we're not doing that anymore. It's not healthy. And then spending money that I don't have. I know we all sometimes can turn to online shopping, but sometimes that is not the best way to get over a problem. What are some of your no ways?
I only put one down for this one, but research an ex. I can be the best private investigator out there. I am a journalist, and I will find out what has happened, but we're not doing that anymore. Nope, I don't care. I wish him well. Yeah, I know.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and
I
love.
know, yeah.
How about you guys?
Putting myself last on the list. I learned that the hard way. And I realized that we're our own best friends, and we should always seek out first for our well-being, and then we have more energy and time to spare and give to other people.
How did you do that mind shift? I want to do a follow-up to your...
Just going through like a burnout, a breakup last year, so like, wait, I've been putting myself like last on the priority list. I'm just like, no. Yeah.
I love that.
We both love that.
Yes, we do. Cue the matching shoes.
Yes.
I know. Okay, anybody else out there? Oh, yeah.
Speaking negatively about yourself, or finishing. Never speaking negatively about yourself, and never finish a negative thought about yourself either, because it all starts up here and makes its way down here. So it's okay to think it. Just don't go ahead and finish the act of speaking it out into existence.
How do you stop that thought?
Yeah, so when I think about a negative thought, I just revert back to all the great things that I've done, how I'm a great mother and I'm a hard worker, and just kind of focus and shift to the positives that I have in my life.
Oh, I love that. That's so great.
Oh, that's so brilliant. I definitely believe in the power of affirmations too, and so I love that you said that, because negative self-talk, goodness gracious, that's how I got to my mental breakdown. So it is a really important one to put on the no way list. Well done with that. But yeah, y'all, you have just filled out your rejection rescue kit. Well done. You now have a contractual document that you can go ahead and sign right now, or when you get home after you fill it all the way out if you want. And that is your commitment to yourself, that the next time that you are feeling low, feeling down, feeling sad, feeling rejected, you're going to pull this out and you're going to follow this. This is your guide now. This is something that you have agreed to yourself. You don't feel shame around. You don't feel guilt around. You have this. As my favorite music artist said in her song Mastermind, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this, you've planned. Congratulations.
I love this. This is great. What a great tool. One part of your story when we were hearing more about it was equipping yourself, and this is exactly what that's doing. Okay, we have about 10 more minutes left of this session, and we would love if anybody wants to ask us questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody? Q&A? I mean, one thing I love about you is you're very open with your story. And, for me, I'll start with a question. On our show, we do deep topics. Is there anything that is a hot button or word that people have said to you that you say, that is not okay in the disability community to use that word?
I love this question. A big part of the original side of my advocacy work was about language. And so I think one thing that I would like to flag is that people are afraid to use the term disabled. And I think for a lot of people in the disability community, myself definitely included, and pretty much most advocates, if not, I don't ever want to say all, but most advocates will say disabled is not a bad word. It is not something to be afraid of. Disability is a normal part of the human condition. If you live long enough, you will be impacted by disability, whether it be yourself or through a loved one. You can have temporary disabilities. Technically, getting the flu is a temporary disability.
Wow.
You shut down for a couple of days. It is a normal part of life, health and wellness. It's part of it. And so not being afraid to use that word is so important because, as I kind of mentioned really early on in the session, there's a lot of fear around disability. And by claiming that word disabled, by being able to use it publicly, proudly, is so important because it takes that fear away. It's not a scary thing. It's just the scary thing is how the world is not adapting and making things accessible. That's the scary thing. The scary thing is not the disability itself. And so I think that is what taking that word is really important. That's what I say all the time on my social media, and I think the thing that I would probably advocate the most is just like owning the identity of disabled.
It's powerful. Okay. Anybody out there? Yes.
Coming out of your divorce and kind of stepping into the dating world again, I'm curious as to how you're approaching dating differently this time around.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a great one. So a little history on my past relationship. I was very young. I met my ex when I was 20. We were engaged by 21, and I was married by 23. So it was a very fast-paced situation, and part of that was expedited, I believe, because of the international element. And so that's not something that I want to brush over. This time around, one, I know myself more. I love myself more. And so I am looking for people that bolster that. It kind of comes back to that idea of community. That's not just in professional connections, that's in relationships as well. I want somebody that is a cheerleader for me, but I can also be a cheerleader for them.
Oh, yeah.
I want somebody who challenges me mentally, spiritually, physically. I want somebody who is funny and has a good sense of humor. And I think this time around, I've been much quicker to let connections go if they are not serving one of those functions.
Wow. Good advice.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes. Our friend with the hair washer.
My question is, what gave you that push to finally start your blog and start posting and things like that?
That's a great question. I think, so I mentioned starting it technically was because of that mentor that I had that was in order to get a job as a storyteller, you're gonna have to stand out and have a blog. So it was that resume booster at first, but to actually post every day and to actually go out there and do the things, it really came down to having more value in myself. That first therapist that I spoke to when I was having my mental breakdown in college was the first person to tell me outside of my family, it's okay that you take up space. It's okay that you do that. And so, that came right around the same time that I started the blog, and it made me realize, I can claim that space. It's not just that it's okay that I take it up. I can claim it. I can be in it. I can be loud in it. This is my space, and my voice and my story is important. If I'm out here telling people that storytelling can change the world, then my story can change the world.
Yes.
So I might as well start talking about it. And I think that was really what that first catalyst was. And then I think the second one was just being oh, people need to hear this. I didn't have that representation growing up. I didn't see disabled people doing anything. I always say that the only disabled character I ever saw on TV was Artie from Glee, and the actor is not even disabled. And so it's not authentic representation. And so for me, that was a big motivation. It's a big part of my purpose to this day, is to be that representation. I think both of those two things combined have really been, they were at the forefront back then, and they remain to be a huge part of it for me going forward.
One thing you did say earlier, though, when we were going through the questions, is she took the first step with buying the domain. She didn't have to have it all figured out right away. And I think that's so crucial in business, is like taking that first step, identifying your dream like you did, your passion, combining it with that, and then doing it.
Yes, I love that. And it really is about, I mean, it goes back to the kit that we just went through. Taking the first step.
Absolutely.
In Frozen 2, they say, do the next right thing, right?
Yeah.
not to quote Disney, but...
I love your quotes.
Oh,
Taylor
thank you.
Swift and Disney. Oh, my goodness.
I'm truly a girly girl.
We're going to take 2 more questions. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Oh, my neighbor. Yes.
So it was interesting that you were speaking about using the word disabled, because I know in my kids' school and growing up and everything, they're all in high school and college now, but it was, do not say that. They're differently abled. And they were always making sure within their school that you just didn't say that. How do you feel about the term differently abled?
Hate it. You saw me physically cringe.
Wow.
I hate that term, because that's looking at disability through an abled gaze.
Oh, that's a very interesting point.
It's making disability more palatable to able-bodied people. And so a lot of advocates in the disability space, that's why we are like shouting, use the term disabled. It's not a scary thing, because words like that actually do more harm to the community. It keeps us othered in many ways.
And I feel like they want them to say it, or they teach kids to say it so that they don't feel othered. Where you're saying it makes you feel more othered than just referring to you as disabled.
Correct. And because it's an assumption. Again, did anybody consult a disabled person when they coined that term? Probably not. And so it's coming from that able-bodied perspective. And so that's where that shift is happening right now in the space.
Well, and I'm so grateful that we're able to have these kind of conversations, because without these, some people wouldn't know and some people wouldn't understand. So I think it's beautiful how you're opening up with your world so people do know, hey, this is how I feel and I'm owning it.
Thank you. And I always say, like, I really try hard not to get annoyed or angry at people when they say the wrong thing, or I don't even want to say the wrong thing, when they use the term like differently abled. I don't ever get mad at that, because usually it's because nobody's ever told them not to. You just said that people are encouraging it. And it's like, okay, no, we need the education, we need the visibility that I'm trying to give to the world, and without that, we're never gonna make change. So that's the key.
That was a good question. Okay, one more, and then we are wrapping it up, folks. Okay, right there, friend on the 3rd row.
Thank you for sharing everything that you have. If there's one thing that you can leave us with today to help us become, obviously you've educated us quite a bit, and I think for me, you've opened up a different window of things that I've like really never thought about in the situations that happen. So if there's something that we can walk away with to better maybe educate someone else, or to just be able to look at a disabled person and make it okay, what would that message be for us to carry with us?
That's a really, really powerful question. You know, I'm tempted, again, to lean into the language thing. Like, that's just something that we can all control, and making sure that, you know, if you hear somebody saying particularly problematic language, I mean, there's a lot of problematic language out there. The R word, for example, I know. If you hear somebody saying that, stand up. Don't be a bystander. Be like, hey, we don't use that term. Actually, we use this term now. This is just taking on some of that allyship, I think, is really key in bringing all of that together. I think another, like, I know you said one thing, but I think the other thing really is seeking out disabled representation, because it's not just going to come to your screen. 95% of the time, we're still not being represented to the level that we need to be. I said that we are the largest minority group. In order to be properly represented, 1 in 5 people on your screens should be disabled in some way.
Wow.
1 in 5. That is not currently what you see. And so to make sure that you are in some capacity seeking out disabled representation and learning and doing that education on your own is a really big part, I think, that I would like to just say it really does make a difference to our community.
Jessica, I am so grateful for you. Everybody that asked questions, thank you. And the people that weighed in on the worksheet, that was powerful. Make sure you sign that though, because it really is a great commitment to yourself. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, Jessica is going to be in the lavender room after this. We highly encourage you to mix, mingle, make new friends. You can also share what you learned here today. It will be up in a few weeks at Marshall's Good Stuff Club, goodstuffsocialclub.com. We are hoping you're having a great day. We have many more sessions. We're glad you're here. Find out about the Accelerator program in your Marshall's goodie bag. There's a QR code that opened up, so we want you to check it out.
Whitney, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.